right, so we're back on the Great American Underdog. First and foremost, happy Easter. Cheers.
Happy, my son.
Love you.
I love you more.
So let's get into where we left off, which was...
Black on the rocks.
Yeah, it's good stuff, huh?
Yes, it is.
I got a little Kentucky Buffalo Trace.
I have 2 bottles of Proper 12 for you that was given to me. I don't drink it.
Oh, fantastic. Probably 12.
Go ahead.
Never a bad thing.
No.
So where we left off was, you know,
Carpentry.
you left the military, and then you had gone into carpentry, continued carpentry from when you were younger.
Yeah, most of my life.
And meeting Uncle Pete is kind of where we left off. So, what happened after the
What
military?
led into meeting Uncle Pete was you had asked me what things made profound changes in me. Discipline from the Army helped. The struggle watching my mom go through gave me empathy for people struggling. So I always had empathy for that. I always felt, because I know what it is.
Yeah.
I've lived it. There were, Uncle Pete, he went by Petey Pex.
Yeah.
Now there's another Pete who's Pete Lucenti.
Yeah.
Who's a dear friend. He also is Petey Pex. They both have big pecs. They both were pecs.
Yeah.
But that Petey Pex, Uncle Peter, we call him Uncle Peter because we were that close.
Yeah.
But you call most of my friends Uncle. I
Yeah.
think all my life.
Yeah,
this
'cause
is
they were-
Uncle Ron. This is Uncle.
Well, they were
Jeff.
around. They were in my life
Right,
enough
Uncle
where they were
George
uncle.
is your
Yeah.
godfather.
That's totally different.
But most of my good friends, you called them Uncle.
For
Uncle
sure.
Mark. Anyway, what Peter taught me. First of all, let me establish this, and I'm not going to say it too much, but I'll put it in a way everyone would understand. He was my sonny. If you saw a Bronx Tale, I was his colloquial.
Okay.
He taught me the do's and don'ts, a lot about life, about many, many things. And what he taught me and changed me was there would be times I would try to be diplomatic when getting into a fight or a problem with someone, and I would try to back out without losing my manhood,
Right.
politely.
Yeah, because you just didn't want.
But I found that people would capitalize on that and think that it was weak and fully not understand that I just really don't want to, it's not worth it. Because Patrick Swayze said it best, nobody wins a fight.
Somebody just gets hurt more than the other person.
Or somebody's going to jail. It's always something. So there are no winners. So by trying to avoid it, people would call that weak. Peter taught me that, first of all, he got me one of my first bouncing jobs.
Yeah.
And
you ran security for many years in clubs.
in every club in Bay Ridge.
Okay.
Almost everyone.
Sure.
Even the Irish clubs.
Yeah.
It was funny, but I made a lot of friends.
For sure.
He taught me that you draw a line and you tell a guy, if you push me again, you can't be the guy who says, if you push me again, I'm telling you, we're going to go at it.
Yeah.
Then the guy shoves you and you go, listen, I'm really serious now. You might be able to do that once or twice. But if you continue, people will read you as you're full of shit.
Right.
He said, when you tell someone, I'm only going to tell you this one time. You got away with pushing me. If you push me again, I'm going to hit you.
Yeah.
And if they do, then you do what you said you would do. You say what you mean, like Cagney once said, you say what you mean and you do what you say. And he said, and when people would realize, if you were to ask some of my friends, I think most of my friends would tell you, I'm pretty much a peaceful guy. I don't bother people.
I agree with that.
I always jump out. You said at my birthday party that I would run for anyone in that room. And there were 70 people there.
That's right.
And every one of them that were there, thank you for being there. I love you all. I would run out the door at 3 o'clock in the morning for them because I love them.
Yeah.
And if I love you, that's it.
Non-negotiable.
No. And he told me to do that. And when people start to realize that you keep your word, because it's really all you have, I got a lot of respect, even from the older wise guys, because they knew I was a straight up guy.
Yeah.
And
so your background in the military, of course, definitely helped you with that. They noticed that tenacity in you, and then combine that with being a man of your word, the respect that you had for people that were in leadership positions, essentially, in the neighborhood and in the community, made it very easy for you to mesh.
I didn't do everything right though. Like
Sure.
my friend Mike DeLuca got me a job in Mr. Tang's. And that was a Chinese or Japanese place in Bay Ridge on 3rd Avenue.
Restaurant.
You were in mom's belly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mom was about to give birth to you. Mr. Tang decides, and this is what I mean, like I didn't always make the right decision, but you learn.
Yeah.
Mr. Tang decides that he wants to close shop. Now at 4 o'clock in the morning, I would be off.
Right.
I was headed home to mom, see how she feels, in case we got to go to the emergency room. Any moment. You came the next day, on your birthday, obviously, at around 2:30 in the afternoon you were born.
Okay.
And I thought you were going to go that night, any moment. So I said, I got to go home.
Yep.
No, and with his accent, you stay.
Yeah.
I have friends coming, you stay.
Yeah.
I pay, you stay.
Right.
I said, no, I can't stay.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is pregnant. Anyway, I ended up throwing him over the counter.
Oh,
and it got really ugly because he put his hands on me. And I told him, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because this is what's going to happen. He didn't listen. I flung him over the bar.
Yeah.
Mike calls me. He goes, well, I guess you're not working there anymore. He goes, but you got to. Ron, you can't throw the yarn all over.
But leading up to, because that was a little bit of a fast forward, and that's okay because it was a relevant story. But so still leading up to meeting mom. So you're having all these different jobs, essentially running nightclubs, singing at this point.
I was singing. Well. I started out with the Joey Dale orchestras. I sang I was the house band for the Marina Del Rey with the Frank Terrace orchestras. My friend Tony Avina. I met him in a club. We would get up. We would do a thing called the Gong Show. The Gong Show was a show where you had 3 judges, and if they didn't like you, they'd gong. But if you got through, they would score you.
Okay.
And there was a place called Beefsteak Charlie's, and I used to go in there and sing. And it's funny because I used to get teased a lot. Not to say I'm the toughest guy in the world, but my friends say, "You're a tough guy. What are you doing singing?" But my mom sang to me all my life. Grandma, growing up. Yeah. And
I remember her.
I remember her singing as a little boy.
Yeah.
Always in the house, and it stuck with me. At nighttime, I would go home to my mom after working late. And I'd walk in, first question, did you eat? You hungry?
Yeah.
No, I'm good, Ma. I stopped at either Vegas Diner, Del Rio Diner.
Right.
And there are people that are going to be familiar with these diners.
Yeah, of course.
So I would walk in and she'd go, come on, sing me a song. I said, Ma, it's 4:30, 4:45 in the morning. Come on, sing me a song. I said, I'll sing you one, you sing me one. And we would go sometimes till 7 in the morning, and I would do Tom Jones. All right, I want you to do Sarah Vaughan or Dinah Washington. And but my mom gave me my zest for singing.
For music and singing.
Yeah. It made me want to emulate what she was doing. I loved it. I loved listening. She would be at the kitchen sink, cleaning and singing.
So that was more normal
Cooking.
to you, because just like other things, like jumping out of an airplane, even the confidence. I'm serious. The confidence that you had naturally, like some people would think to get on stage, and that would be frightening, right?
Yeah. But
like,
now, here, I have to intervene.
Sure.
You, for instance.
Okay.
The viewers don't know, when you gave the speech for Sal Lopez, who was his trainer, and by the way, he's a Golden Glove champion. I have to say it. I'm sorry. I'm a proud father.
It's okay.
You had everyone crying. I'm telling you, as God is my witness, that out of almost 500 people that were there, and I'm talking about professionals, Bernard Hopkins was there,
Ray Mercer
was there, all boxers, Mike Tyson was there. Out of 500 people that were there, you had 300 of them in tears. That's a fair assessment. And I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at them, And I'm going, where did he come from? Yeah, but I was so, aside from being proud,
Sure.
it wasn't just that you had the confidence to get up and speak to 500 people. It was what the message you delivered.
How?
The heartfelt message. Sal was in tears. That's
Yeah.
his trainer. And I'm in tears watching him cry, and his wife's hugging him, because it was an induction to Sal
For the Hall of Fame.
into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And Ron gave a speech that was just
Yeah, and so
magnificent.
those
and
things.
I sat back like the way my mom used to say. How do you feel? I get up, I sing, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just like it.
Yeah. Well, with me, it's like I feel like for you, you wouldn't get as much of like the butterflies before going in front of people. Where in my younger years, getting in front of people, even then,
Yeah.
like there's a nervousness. But here's the thing: we have an ability where once you're doing it, it's off. The nerves go away. You're in the zone. You know you got to perform, and be on point. And you also are not just speaking for yourself, but for others. So like you're entertaining other people. And I think that also that element for you of again, taking care of other people, wanting to help other people, and wanting to maybe inspire them, made it easy for you to get up on stage and have fun with them because you got a lot of feedback from the crowd because you also are an excellent performer. If you look up my name, Ron Marvo, on YouTube, you will see his video from 2003 if you want to get a sample of.
It's 15 years ago. No, it's more. It's 15
Yeah?
years ago, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. But you'll get a sample of some of the singing that Dad does. So anyway, so let's just say so that's like the 80s and everything. So life is pretty much at this point working in clubs, still carpentry, singing, everything like that. And your friend group is, of course, Uncle Pete was, I won't just say a father figure to you as much as he was a mentor. Would you say that is right?
Older brother. Yeah.
Older brother?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure.
So now let's just move forward to...
And a mentor.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all my friends are mentors. I think we are all mentors to each other. I learned from, and I don't mean any disrespect when I say this,
Yeah.
from what they've acquired and accomplished, and I learned from the mistakes they made.
Sure.
And I try to listen to people with value. When I say value, let me clear that up. People that I value what they think and who they are as people. I watch what they do and I see the impact. And when they tell me what an impact it had, I take it from where it's coming.
From the source.
If I hear from some meatball, I'm not going to heed his lesson or warning because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But when I see people that I know well and they tell you, I don't want to live the mistake to learn it. If my son tells me, Dad, I'm worried about this, please be careful. I do it because you recognized it. And what you say carries weight.
Is valuable to you.
Right.
So all the people in that time period that had any value to you in terms of the character of who they were was really who you gravitated to more than anything.
Yeah.
And at this time, when did motorcycles on the street level get into play? So, because there's another whole element to you.
I remember my first motorcycle.
Singing, bouncing,
racing,
right? Airborne, all these different things, all these carpentry, and in my opinion,
I've covered a lot of ground.
That's where Jeanette gets a lot of her artistic ability. I feel in a way because of your carpentry skill and your eye for that passing down.
You got to please somehow get the bridge on here later.
We'll get the bridge on here later. I
All
promise. I'll make it fade right onto
Cool.
the camera.
I like the idea of the bridge between us, bridging us.
Yeah, no, we'll do
just
that.
the concept of that is cool.
Yeah. So anyway, so now motorcycles. Just a little backdrop before he gets into it. Dad is on his, I believe, 73rd motorcycle.
71.
71.
Actually, it's the longest bike I've ever owned.
At 70 years old. So I grew up with bikes, with him having bikes my whole life.
A couple.
But before, But before all that, like mini bikes, I know we talked about that earlier with Brooklyn. But then you get back from the military. How does
thank you, Jeff? You grew up on Jeff's mini bike.
Thank you, Uncle Jeff.
And you got it back without the motor only because it blew up, and I couldn't find the gas tank. I'm sorry, but I love you.
It's so funny. So anyway, so you get back from the army. Like, how did you get back into bikes? You know, who were you riding with? What were you doing?
In 1980, I got my first, not my first, my first motorcycle was in, I think, 79 or 78. It was a KE 100, wing, two-stroke. And I have a friend, Sandy Barone, was buying a new bike. And I took him over the George Washington Bridge. It was only a 100cc two-stroke motor. You have two guys over 180 pounds on the bike trying. I could only maintain 40 miles an hour in the right lane.
Wow.
I took him all the way to Jersey to buy his new motorcycle. But after that, the first real roadworthy bike that I could take on a trip to Georgia,
If you wanted, yeah.
was a 650 Yamaha.
Cool.
That I bought with my first loan.
Wow.
That I ever really took out. I never took out a loan. And I could never afford to go fast with cars because of my circumstance.
Yeah.
I would go to work. I lived with Mom when I was younger, but when I was older, and I think 17 and a half, I was actually in my own apartment in the basement.
Yeah.
But I would always give my mom money.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
And my mom would sometimes call me up just out of the blue. How you fix for blades? And to her, blades were dollar bills. And I said, why, Ma? You need a few bucks? Well, I got my check. I want to know if you're all right. How are the kids? Till the end of her life, always said that.
Sure.
Yeah. But anyway, the bikes, that was my first bike. And then the first really fast, but that wasn't very fast. That was the bike I slid on the Verrazano Bridge.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like another thing you've overcame is being able to ride through all these years. Like I joke with people.
Only God's blessing.
I joke with people sometimes in a way. I'm like, I don't ride anymore around here because it's too commuted. Too congested rather.
Yeah.
And I just rather not at the time when I have a nice mountain road and I have property out somewhere.
Listen, your
I can enjoy it a bit
carefulness,
more.
a father will never be upset when his kids are careful.
Yeah, absolutely not. But you slid on the Verrazano Bridge. Like I mean,
just about 100 miles an hour, and you know.
Thank God you were in leathers.
It's no. It's funny when you tell the story to people. 100 miles an hour. How could that be possible? Guys fall on racetracks, 140 miles an hour, on concrete, go into gravel. It's not the slide. It's the sudden stop if you hit something, a barrier, a barricade,
Sure.
or if you tumble. When you tumble, you smack things. I had the wherewithal that when I had the problem with the front end on the bike,
Yeah.
and I knew it was going, and it was veering toward the cables, and I knew I'm going to hit this cable, it's going to cut me in half. So I hit the rear brake, threw the bike on the floor, and I had the wherewithal to spread eagle, so I wouldn't tumble. And I remember my first revolution on the ground, I had my chin up like this.
Yeah, off the ground.
And it's funny because that's how you jump out of a plane.
So it was innate for you.
Chin tucked, hands here.
Yep.
But I don't know why I didn't want my head on the ground, so I kept my chin up.
Instant.
And I am sliding on my leather jacket, dingo cowboy boots that Uncle George brought me, and jeans.
When was this? What year?
1981.
Oh, wow. Okay. So 10 years before I'm born.
81.
Wow.
The bike and I slide for a good way. I'm remembering I was afraid that when I went down, I'm going to get hit by a car from behind.
Sure.
But I had out-accelerated
Everybody.
and I had friends, and we were going to go to Englishtown Raceway just to see the time trial the bike. It wasn't a fast bike, but just to see.
Yeah.
But it could do 100 miles an hour.
Sure.
Which is about, I had it pinned.
Yeah.
And then I had a problem with the fork legs. They didn't tighten them, the triple trees, and it started shaking like violently.
Sure.
So I made the decision to abandon ship and lay it down and take my chances there because I had no control over it.
Yeah.
I was veering over. So I could tell you a couple of things. One, the curb on the Verrazano Bridge is that high.
Yeah, it's massive.
I can tell you that because I got into the curb and I slid in the curb. Thank God I didn't hit a sewer grate.
Oh yeah.
I stopped before, and I just made a couple of revolutions, and it was like slow motion. And I was relieved to see there were no tractor trailers because I had passed some trucks. And because they're coming uphill, they must have been loaded, and they're not traveling fast. They actually held back the traffic. So that kind of saved me.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was God. Get up.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm standing. My bike is pissing, leaking oil.
Yeah.
I'm looking at I pick it up. I'm looking at first of all, when I kicked away from the bike, you remember Silver Jets on 4th of July? And the sparks shower?
Sure.
Well, the bike spun around, and the sparks that came, I thought it was going to blow up.
Sure.
And it was out in front of me because I kicked away from it.
Yeah.
And you'll slow down faster because you have garments
and
on
also
the
weight.
bike will. And that bike is sliding on steel.
Yeah.
And I'm watching. When I picked it up, the exhaust pipe looked like a commercial.
It's flat.
Our exhaust pipes are the one to buy.
And you can see the
Because
whole.
you could cut it in
the
half.
whole cutout.
And you see all the chambers and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember going, holy shit. And I'm standing up and I'm going, my fucking ass is burning. Now I had a jacket that covered my tailbone.
Yeah.
Leather jacket. I stand up and I'm holding the railing, and we're near Fort Wadsworth. I'm looking off the bridge.
Yeah.
And I'm going, my ass is burnt. And I reach back, my underwear.
Gone.
My ass is all raw.
Yeah.
Like you trip in the street, you scrape your knee.
Yeah.
Well, my whole ass was like that.
Well, people don't realize if you just go down to tar and you go like this, it's not flat. It's
my
rocks.
ass was like it's like sandpaper.
Yeah.
So now my ass is oozing, and I'm going fuck, and the wind is blowing. And you know, if you burn your hand and you blow on it, you feel it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So I'm standing in the window. My bike is leaking shit. And I look down. My boots are ground down. You saw the inside of my heel. And the only thing that saved my back, the back of my jacket must have overheated so much from the friction that it broke like a wafer. The leather.
It was brittle.
It got brittle.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's pretty wild. So
now I show up at George's store. I get the bike started.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
And I limp with the broken handlebars, no headlight.
This is Kings Highway.
No, this is on the Verrazano Bridge. They had plastic chains.
Yeah.
I took the chain off and
so you
went
went to
through. I
George's
never
store.
made it to the toll plaza.
Yeah.
Went back to George's store.
That was on Kings Highway.
And that was on 86th Street.
That was Chevy's.
That was Chevy's.
Okay.
And I'm standing there, and he goes, I walk in, he goes, what the fuck happened to you? He didn't see my ass. He didn't see anything. He saw my face.
Yeah.
He said I was white like a sheet.
Of course.
And I said, I need the bathroom. And I staggered into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he looked, and what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And then I told him the story. But that was my first motorcycle. And then after that,
I never knew that
bikes.
the 100-mile-an-hour story was on the first bike ever.
Second.
Well, yeah, but first one you bought with a loan and bought.
Yeah, it was the first big bike. It was 650.
Yeah, back
then. It wasn't
then.
a little.
And back then, 650 was still something. It was
Oh,
something.
it's substantial.
Yeah,
it
it still is today. But
yeah.
All right, so now. And at this point, obviously, you're hanging out with Uncle George a bit. You guys go and ride rapids together, and things of that nature. So I'm just looking at all the things and adding them up. So you got rapids, you got airborne, you got motorcycles, you got working in nightclubs.
I won't bungee jump.
Won't bungee jump,
Fuck
funny
that.
enough. But all these different
That rubber
environments.
band,
And earlier you said it was only God. So I kind of have like a question for you in that regard.
If I bungee jump, why don't I have enough faith in God that the rubber band will break?
No, imagine.
Fuck that.
No, fuck that. I agree with you. Or like, you know what I hate? The ones that that pull you down in like the cart, like a slingshot, and they put you in that little half car.
I have not tried that. That sounds like fun. Though.
I don't know. They shoot you up straight up.
Oh, don't they have a ride?
That's bungee cords though on the side.
No, wait. They have a ride. I saw it in Great Adventure.
Yeah.
It pulls down. It's got 4 big arms that fold in.
You're in a little ball.
Yeah, and it's like a slingshot.
But that's bungee cords, man.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of them.
There's not just one. All right. So let me get my question here, which is all these different environments that are, could be that are more aggressive, I would say, at
It's
times.
actually really good.
I bet it is. Do you think that what got you through some of these more difficult obstacles was because of your instinct and your ability at a younger age, or was it more the universe, God, whatever you might call that? Because we've talked about when I was younger and through our lives where I never thought I'd make it. You would say to me at times, or I never thought I'd have kids, because of all the things that you might have been through throughout your life. Do you think that was because a mix of what you learned growing up and the God and the universe, a little bit of both? Explain why the why behind all that.
Well,
really,
I could tell you the why behind. I didn't know if I'd ever get married.
Because I know people that got motorcycle accidents that are younger.
No, it wasn't just
things like that.
You're asking me, if you're asking me why, what made the difference where I said to my mom at one point, I don't think I'm ever going to have kids. If you would have told me I'd be out in Jersey happily married with children, I would have looked at you like you were crazy because I didn't think it was for me.
Yeah.
I was married when I was younger.
Yeah.
To a wonderful girl named Lisa. Hey, Lisa. And frankly speaking, because I cannot tell a lie, I wasn't as good a husband as I should have been.
Sure.
Lost a quality person. That was a life learning lesson. To lose someone very much that you cared for because you made stupid choices and decisions. Because I didn't make every decision the right way.
Right. That's how we learn something.
Long story short, tried to go back, wanted nothing to do with me anymore. And I moved on, left her alone. I remember my mom saying, you're going to meet somebody nice.
Yeah.
And I said, Mom, I don't know if it's for me. It didn't work out. I don't, maybe my doing, why I wasn't stable. But I had asked initially that I did not want to remain married. And what I did was I heard a great person and I learned from that.
Yeah.
And I told my mother, I said, if I ever meet someone good again, of that caliber, I'm not going to mess it up.
Sure.
And I met your mom. I walked into a store and she was working for my friend. And I looked at her and I asked my friend, I said, she's gorgeous. How old is she? She's 20. I went, oh God, please. God's already mad at me. I wasn't
You were
an angel.
35.
I'm 35 years old. I don't need God mad at me.
Yeah.
I've got enough shit on my plate. I want to do shit right. Not that I wasn't bad. I just was not ready or settled. And it should be noted that it wasn't lack of love. It was lack of maturity.
Sure.
Because I would fight a lion for Lisa.
And
Mom knows.
And time teaches us things, but a point I want to make, which is like the question I asked before, but let me ask it a little bit better.
Go ahead.
Because it's pertinent to what you're saying. Do you feel that there's a underlying energy, God, universe, something,
Yes.
guardian angel,
Yes.
that you think
Everybody.
guided you through all this soup of things that happened?
Yes,
to you through your
because
life?
there are things that have happened to me, and if you think me, and you know the story,
Yeah.
they don't.
With Mom.
With
We're
Mom,
gonna get to that shortly.
When we get to that,
Yeah.
you are gonna have your socks blown up and down.
So there was a guiding. I think that yes, there was maturity and lessons, but everything happens for a reason.
You better believe it.
And
we all listen. When people say we make plans, God laughs.
yeah,
I never thought I'd be where I am.
yeah,
I never thought I would go on to make substantial money, have my own home, children. I'm happily married. I love my wife immensely.
So go back to when you met Mom. Then,
So
at that point.
I meet her, and my mom, seen her. I was actually breaking up with a young lady. were on the phone, and I had gone to Florida to take a break.
Yeah.
And I come home from Florida, and my phone is ringing off the hook. A very turbulent relationship, beautiful girl, but just too much turbulence.
Too much drama.
So my phone's ringing. What? We could go and we could go to a counselor. We could fix it. We can't fix this. I knew it was unfixable. And I hang up, and the phone rings again. And I go, enough. I hang up. Phone rings again. What is it? Will you stop? Hi, Ron. Who's this? It's Rosanne. Rosanne, how are you? Now, we had already met.
Yeah.
I said, one night, we'll go out, maybe.
You met her at the store that she was working at? You introduced
I
yourself?
met her at the store.
That's it.
I gave her tickets. I was singing a club called the Jean-Luc Cafe.
Okay.
Off Broadway, down in a lounge, kind of like a bluesy, smoky
Sure.
jazz lounge.
I'm trying to imagine mom there, but
So I'm singing there, and I'm giving tickets to my friends to
Right.
come to the show. And I said, you can bring a guest, boyfriend if you have, or anyone you like.
No, yeah.
She goes, well, I don't really have anybody. I said, listen, if you're not with anyone, and you'd like to get together for a cup of coffee, some ice cream, chit-chat a little bit, get to know each other, I would love to talk to you. And she said, okay, fine. I said, this is my number. Please don't be where, oh no, I can't call a guy. I will not misread that you called me,
Yep.
that you're hungry. No, we're beyond that.
Yeah.
We're mature people. If you're in the neighborhood and you find yourself going around, you want to go grab something, it would be my pleasure to go out.
Right.
So the phone rings. I'm just finished screaming for 3 different phone calls with my ex-girlfriend, who's just, hi, Ron. Yeah, what's this? Rosanne.
Yeah.
Rosanne, hi. I'm so sorry. I'm breaking up with my girl. She was breaking up with a guy that she was going out with. And we were talking about, don't you hate it when they do this?
Yeah, so you're
And
talking about
don't
the bad relationship.
We're
of the
chit-chatting
past.
like buddies
Yeah.
over her bad relationship
yours.
and mine.
Yep.
So she goes, but you sound upset. I said, oh, please. It hasn't stopped. I just don't want to be bothered. She goes, how about I come and pick you up and I take you out for ice cream?
Wow.
Well, I mean, that's like, would you like some cotton candy?
Yeah, right.
I
That's
thought
a kid
it was.
candy,
I thought it was the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
The way she just, and it was totally sincere.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I could really dig an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
That
cool.
sounds great.
Let's do it.
That was the beginning of our
Aw.
relationship.
That's incredible.
Right there. We went on, and I mentioned Lisa because I want to mention Mom and Lisa in that I heard through the grapevine that someone had hit my ex-wife.
Yeah.
And I want this out there because it's what transpired in my life. And if we're going to talk about my life, I can't just talk about the good stuff. Or not that this was
I
not
love
good.
that. No, of course.
I have to
It's genuine, and that's the only way.
be open
That's the only way
to
we
it
do
all.
Genuine and authentic. Baby.
Yes, that's the only way. And I love that about your show. You're gonna go on to do some great shows.
Thank you.
I believe I'm not patronizing.
I know.
I don't do that.
I don't think that
So-
for a second.
So she went out with a couple of people and didn't work, which happens to a lot of us.
Right.
But she went out with someone that hurt her, put her in the hospital, fractured her eye open. And when I heard this, I, to some degree, felt like if I would have been better, a better man, she would have still been with me. She never would have gotten hurt like this.
So you felt kind of. A
I
little bit of guilt.
did feel very bad about it. Yes.
Right.
And when I explained to Mom, I remember telling my mother, Mom, she goes, Ronnie, I like this girl. I said, Mom, she's too young for me. We hang out, we talk, nothing more. We've gone out for ice cream, we chit-chat. I actually tried to introduce her to Uncle George's younger brother, Blaine.
Blaine.
Because they were more of age. I said to her, you know, you should be in college. You should be doing things. If you think mom's gorgeous now, you had to see her at 20.
Yeah.
Forget about it. I mean,
Mom.
guys would go in the store, bullshit and faking that they want dresses for their girlfriends
To go be in
just to see her.
Yep.
True.
I
I know. I had to go and tell a guy to leave her alone who worked in the sanitation department that wouldn't stop going in.
Ever.
She said,
Yep.
I have someone when we were together.
Yeah.
And he goes, you know, and he didn't care. And then I made him understand.
You gotta care.
You gotta care.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you have to. So,
Sorry.
anyway, what made me know that she was the one is we became pregnant. I say we because I'm with mom in this era of life.
Yeah.
And she breaks this news to me. And I'm a wreck. I never had anyone to emulate as far as a father. I shouldn't say that. Samuel, Lisa's dad, was the only man who ever called me son, and I loved him immensely. Now, that's pertinent to this. When Lisa got beat up, this guy that she went with told her, if you go to the police, I will not only hit you again, I will beat up your father. I will go after your family.
God.
She tried to rescue him. This is to my knowledge. I could be inaccurate on some points, but I think if she saw this, she'd say, I'm pretty on the money.
All right, fair.
He was a paranoid schizophrenic. He was a great hockey player at one point in his life, very athletic guy, but he, and believe it or not, this is leaning toward mom.
Yeah.
I know it is. But he lost his way mentally, and she tried to help him, and he just flipped out one night and beat her like a man. Fuck. And Lisa was a sweetheart. Wasn't one to prod you.
Regardless, you never put your
wonderful
hands
human being.
I'm a woman, but
I go to I see him on 86th Street for the very first time.
Right.
I'm in Uncle George's store. This is now Uncle George left Chevy's, bought male attitude.
Right.
He's walking down 86th Street, very cocky. The kind of guy that if he's walking and someone's in his path, he will not yield.
Yeah.
He will not.
If you bumped into him, he'd be like, "Watch where the fuck you're going."
Yeah, or I'll throw you in the street.
Yeah.
He was a bully.
Aggressive. Yeah.
And he knew it. People feared him. And when I saw him, I wanted to run right across the street. George told me, Ron, you got dress shoes on. If you're gonna, I know what you're planning. Go home, get sneakers. He's walking down 86th. I run to my house. I put on sneakers and sweatpants. Oh, and I took my vial of lithium because I was a diagnosed manic depressive.
Okay.
And I knew he was a med guy and he would take like Thorazine, heavy drugs.
Oh, no shit.
Because he was a really wild guy.
He's fucked up.
So,
clearly. I
said, I'm going to fuck with his head.
Yeah.
Now, before I did this, I went to her girlfriend, Denise, and I had to go to ask permission because he collected money for someone I knew who was from another group of friends. And
sure.
If I interfered with that operation, I would be stopping the guy from earning money. He had this guy go out and do his collections. So I had to go to him and explain to him what your man had done to my former wife. And I feel compelled to make sure he understands he can never put his hands on her again.
Right.
He gives me a green light, I leave. Then I had seen him for the very first time. Now I already have my green light.
Sure. I
go around and I wait for him on 86th Street and 23rd Avenue.
Right.
He's about 100 feet from me, walking toward me. And I have my foot on the fender of a car, stretching, because I don't want to get a pull, because I know I'm going to get in it now.
Yeah.
And I know I don't need to get a hamstring problem in the middle of fighting
altercation, yeah.
a formidable guy.
Yeah.
And I know that because I know people he's beat up.
Yeah. And word travels that way.
Yeah. So, okay, but I'm also compelled. He's got to go.
Yeah.
He's got to understand. I'm gonna make him afraid of me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you fear me.
Yeah.
So what I did was, as he's walking toward me, I took my pills, and I look right in his eyes, and he's carrying his gym bag, and he's walking, and he like sees me, and we're locked in like two panthers.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, and he puts his bag down.
Realizing there's some shit.
What's your problem?
Yeah.
I said, you are my problem. I am your fucking lesson. Come over here, you fuck. And I said, oh, and I dumped my pills in the street. I don't take medicine anymore either. So now we're even. You and I are on the same level. At least so you may think. And I flung the bottle.
The psychology mindfuck.
He runs around the car. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna murder you today. I said, you need to fucking die. Listen to me and listen to me. Come over here. He would not. As I advanced, he went.
He knew who you were too.
I had no idea who I am yet.
At all.
Not at all.
Even through the other connection?
Not at all.
Wow.
No. He did not know I was coming after him.
But did he know who you were?
No.
Was, right.
He never knew that I was Lisa's husband until I told him.
Did he know Ron Marvo?
No.
Okay, nothing.
Didn't know my name.
All right, fair. Continue.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, right. Okay.
I said, you put my ex-wife Lisa in the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm her ex-husband. But beyond that, I'm a happily married person.
Yeah.
I'm with someone. This is not about me trying to get your girlfriend back. But it's about, if you ever put your fucking hands on her again, I will end your fucking life.
Right.
And then when I find out you threaten, if she goes to the police, you're going to hurt her father, the man, I loved this
son.
man.
Yeah.
I loved Sam.
So he fucked up.
I mean, loved him. I cried over him when you came with me.
I was with you.
When he was dying of cancer in the hospital, I bought him the book and I told him how much I loved him.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I got to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he went around. The cops come racing up. People must have called. The 4 cop cars come running up to us.
Break you guys up.
So now, I never got my hands on him.
Oh, no shit, yeah.
So now, I'm screaming at him, you go back to the pool hall. My name is Ron Marvo. You tell anyone in the pool hall, ask them. Because you see me, you don't want to see me in this way.
Again. Yeah.
Don't ever touch her again. I promise you, I will find you. You can't escape me. Nothing can save you from me. I will come after you and I will get you.
Yeah.
Don't forget what I'm telling you. Go to your guy that you work for, because I went to him for permission.
Yeah.
Before I came after you. And I'm yelling.
He just listened.
Cops are holding both of us.
Is he yelling anything back?
No, I was going, you ain't going to do it. You could talk all you want.
Cops are there.
You're going to change your tune. And I'm nobody big, but this is what I mean when I say what you mean, do what you say.
Yep.
He went back to the people I told him to go back to, and they told him simply, the man is a gentleman, not a troublemaker, knows how to be a gentleman.
Don't cross him.
But he'll fight the devil if you put him in front of him.
Yeah, especially if it's something where it has to do with
And
disrespect or hurting somebody.
First of all, you don't lose when you're right. It's too in you to not be defeated.
Yeah.
He has to lose because he's at a mental disadvantage. He knows he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And he knows now that there's somebody with a wrath that is not going to let him go.
You're an advocate for good and evil will never prosper in your mind.
I won't have it.
I know.
So now,
that's how you view
but
it.
this is a person I love dearly.
Yeah.
So
that's
now,
it, on top of.
before I run out the door,
Mom.
I see Mom.
Yeah.
And Mom, and this is what changed me. When Mom told me a day or two, I forget when, but she said, Ron, I said, you need to understand something. we broke up, and it was amicable. I wanted to go back. Lisa said, Ron,
No.
she didn't think it would work a second, or third time.
Whatever
All
it
the
was.
times we had shit.
Yes.
So it was amicable. We
Sure.
walked away. But I always told her, I'll always be looming out there. I will never let anyone hurt you.
Right.
And
You told Mom this, of course.
well, I told her, I said, had we been together, we'd still be married, maybe have children. But the fact that we split up puts me out there meeting people, puts her out there meeting people. Now, unfortunately, she met a dirtbag. I don't want to go visit her in the funeral parlor. This man's fucking crazy.
Right.
You need to understand, I'm compelled.
Yes.
I cannot avoid this.
And what Mom said.
No one else can help her. Her father is not going to fight this young man.
No.
She has no relatives, nobody else in her corner. Had we not broken up,
That never happened, so you feel obligated.
I feel responsible that she's out there wandering looking
Right.
for someone to love.
Then you tell Mom this.
And so I tell this to your mom.
Yeah.
And Mom says, I understand. Believe me, I do. I just don't want it to where it ruins our life together.
Right.
But I understand how you feel. I said, you don't have to feel threatened.
No.
Please.
Yeah.
It isn't about this. It's about I can't let anything happen to her or her family.
So your foundation of trust right out of the gate when Mom was there. When was the first time you introduced her to Grandma?
I don't actually remember, but my mom met her.
Loved her.
Oh, how could you not love Mom?
I know.
Mom is a fawn.
Yeah.
Mom is the epitome of a human
So
Bambi. A lot of guts. No.
a lot of guts if it comes down
by
to it.
her soft, fawn-like demeanor,
Yeah.
but tough. When we get into
Well,
her
yeah.
story, they're gonna
Well-
be blown away.
Well, right before we get into that,
Nice watch.
You have, oh yeah, you got it for me. Thank you. So, you have kids. You have Jeanette. You have me. What was it like at first?
Well, I didn't have you yet.
No, I'm saying I'm combining it. So you have Jeanette. You have me.
Let me get to that.
Yeah.
Mom tells me she's pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm petrified. Oh my God, what the fuck do? I have a 20-year-old girl. She's pregnant. I love her. I wanted to wait a little longer to see how things evolve.
Of course, sure.
Oh fuck, what do? Her parents hate me that I'm 35 and she's 20.
Yeah.
Could you imagine when they get this news?
Yeah. And
So I
they're
go
more-
to Uncle George.
they're
Uncle
more
George says,
conservative.
Ron, the girl thinks the sun rises and sets, loves you, wants to give you children. She's beautiful. What the fuck is your problem? He goes, nothing's etched in stone, Ron. It could be the best thing that ever happened to your life.
Right.
And it was.
Yeah.
But I feel I came into Mom's life
Universe again.
for the reason of the story we will tell.
Yeah.
What happened. I feel that I was used as an instrument
Yeah.
because I was my relentless. And again, I am trying not to sound arrogant or
No, I know
conceited.
you're not.
No, I mean to the people that will view this, Ron.
Of course, absolutely.
I know you know me.
Yeah.
I
I don't think you
don't
come
want-
across that way. Even if
I
did,
don't know
I don't. even
how
if I did
they
know.
think,
Sure.
but I want to clarify.
Yeah.
But I am relentless if I care about something.
100%.
I am relentless if I care about you. And I went to him. He said, Ron, I went to Mom and I said, what if I'm not ready?
Yeah.
I love you. I do want to marry you. But what if I'm not ready to be a dad? And I'm afraid to do this right
Sure.
now. She goes, I'm not going to be the woman who forces you into it and says, well, I'm having it. My body,
bad.
fuck you, too bad.
Right.
She goes, I want it with you. I said, you're 20, you're going to be 21. You could have been a model. She's 5'8" and a half. In heels, she's over 6 feet tall. Statuesque, gorgeous. I remember what she was wearing when I met her. She had on black skin-tight spandex, because it was of the day.
80s. Yeah.
high heels, pumps. She had
The big hair.
The big hair. She had a plaid.
Where you go, Mom?
She had a plaid. Where is she?
I'm pointing at the camera, just giving her a little shout out.
You. She had a plaid, black and green plaid, very sharp shirt, into her waist with a big belt, and it fanned out over her hips. Over her hips, like a movie star.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I understood why everybody was like, "You see the girl working in that store?"
Yeah, for sure, Mom.
Like a new waitress in a diner.
Yeah, that's just
or a nightclub.
Stunning.
That, like,
doing that for tips while she's chasing her actress career. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was people would go to the restaurant just to see the new waitress.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a knockout.
Right.
Did you see that knockout? Holy shit! There's a new waitress at such and such.
So you don't know if you're ready to have kids.
So Mom tells me. I said to her, "You should have been an actress. You could have been a model. You should be in college. You're smart. You could be a lawyer. She can read, write very well."
Yeah.
And I always sucked at it. My first wife helped me with my spelling.
Yeah.
Mom helped me with my spelling. You helped me all the time.
Yeah.
So
no discredit to you. It's just the way you grew up.
Right.
Mom went to Roman Catholic school, and
I went to work. I went to the school.
I
went to the school of.
Jack
I was breaking those streets at 14 years. I was driving a dump truck at 15 and a half with a pillow under my ass.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So anyway.
Different worlds.
So.
Which is also a good thing.
She tells me.
Perspective.
Look, she says, I had those opportunities. The guys you go for casting, they all want to throw you into bed. She goes, I saw my mom and dad do it. They're wonderful people, but way too strict. I couldn't even have a boyfriend. I want to be a homemaker. I want to have a family. I want to be in love. And I'm sorry, but it's you that I want to be the father of my children.
Yeah, and she was just certain.
And I looked at her, and I said, I just want to go talk to get some feedback.
Yeah.
We get in the car. We get to the corner of 85th and 23rd Avenue, and there's tears coming out of her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Are you okay?" She goes, "I'm all right." You know, just not easy. I said, "Yeah, but we didn't do anything yet. I just want to talk." I know. She must have sensed that maybe I didn't want to have the baby. When I saw her crying, I said, "What the fuck am I doing? I'm going against everything I said. If I ever meet someone of quality and caliber again, I'm not going to fuck it up."
Yeah.
And I said, "We're going to get married." I drove around the block. She goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm parking the car." "Why? We're not going." "You love me? You want to marry me? Good. We need to get moving before you start showing." Yeah. She cried. She hugged me. I hugged her. Aww. And this was now our new plan. Yeah.
So let's fast forward a little bit. So you of course get married, have Jeanette, have me.
First of all, I told Jeanette, I said, "I want you to know something.
Yeah.
You were chosen."
Yes. 100%.
Okay. You weren't an accident.
Yeah.
You know, she thinks like
none of this.
Well,
none of this
no,
was an accident.
no.
There's no accidents here.
There are none.
No. That's for sure.
She said, "So you didn't know if you wanted?" No, I didn't. But I made a decision that I did. And that's you.
You know, all the possible, it's just something I want to add in there.
Go.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know the physicist?
No.
Astrophysicist?
No.
He's been on Rogan before. Black fellow.
No.
A little bit heavier set?
No.
Alright, so Neil deGrasse Tyson is an astrophysicist, very intelligent man. But he came up with a theory, essentially, talking about with other scientists, that the probability of you being born, me being born, so if you were to take mom and you's DNA, all the potential sperm you have, all the potential eggs mom had, and you were to multiply all the possible combinations, the likelihood of me being born, compared to the amount of kids that weren't born that you and mom could have had.
This is too deep.
is astronomical. So every person that's actually born, you're less than winning the lotto.
I want to throw something else in here.
So I just think that's insane. So Jeanette, yes, is 100% chosen, and it happened for a reason.
Yeah.
That's why I bring that up.
I want to.
Shout out to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I want to throw something else in here.
Yeah, sure.
Why I feel it was destiny. Is that a good word?
Yeah, sure.
Destiny. It was destiny.
Guardian angel, divine.
It was destined. It was preordained, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
When Lisa and I were married, we lived on West 6th Street. She moved back home. I was left with the apartment.
Right.
Now, I was singing in the Frank Terrace orchestras, and I had to go to the Marina Del Rey to sing that evening. And when you do a show for a bride and a groom, I was the front guy in the band.
Yeah, singing.
And had an orchestra behind me.
Right.
They have requests, and they give you a list of songs they want done.
Sure.
So Caribbean Queen
Yes.
was one of the songs by Billy Ocean.
Okay.
And not an easy song to sing.
No.
And I'm working my ass off.
Sure.
I'm upstairs. It's a Saturday, I believe. Saturday evening. Early evening, around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
All right.
People are filing into the backyard. The man downstairs, his name is Tony. He had a daughter, Rosemary, and Linda. Linda had a birthday party in the backyard. Or it was Rosemary, I'm not sure. Or a graduation party.
Oh, it is.
And party comes, party goes.
Right.
Okay. Fast forward 3 years. I meet Mom, she's 20. Where'd you live? I said, I lived on West 6th Street, Naven West. My uncle lived there.
Oh.
I said, really? She said, yeah, what house? I said, I don't know the address. Where'd you live? I said, 1921, West 6th.
Right.
She goes, I'm not sure. It was near the cafe was on the... I said, I'll show you. We go by. She says, which house? I said, that house. She goes, that house. Now, Mom had been coming with me as I was rehearsing for my show on Broadway.
Right.
And all of a sudden, she goes, it's you. And I went, what? It's me. What? Yes, yeah, it's me.
Yeah, you know me. Yeah.
You know me, it's me.
Yeah.
She goes, no. You were singing Caribbean Queen 3 years ago when I came to my cousin Linda's. This is my Uncle Tony's house.
Holy shit.
I said, are you fucking kidding me? Now I know this is going to go bad.
Yeah, because you had an altercation.
When I was arguing with Lisa, we were yelling.
Yeah, loudly. Yeah, having an argument. Okay.
And maybe a few bad words will pass between us.
Sure.
And he comes up once. He comes up twice. I'm sorry. Ron, I hear you in the alleyway. I'm sorry.
Who lives next to you?
She's going to be out in another week, and it'll be quiet.
Your neighbor?
No, my ex-wife.
No, this is your neighbor coming to knock on the door.
No, this is Tony.
Tony, who lives
downstairs, Underby, who owns the house.
Okay, wow.
Roseanne's uncle, Mom's uncle.
Yep.
So he
unbeknownst to you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of course.
He comes up and he goes, listen. Now, he says, if you gotta, I said, listen, do I pay my rent on time? Yes. Do I ever really have episodes like this? I'm trying to settle some shit, and you keep knocking on my door. If you come up here again, I'm gonna throw you down the fucking stairs. Now, these are things, as an older, mature man, I shouldn't have ever said that to this man. He's not wrong, he's right, and I'm wrong. And if that was somebody's father, they would have every right to come to me and say, what the fuck are you telling my father?
Yeah.
Somebody told you they wanted to throw me down the stairs, you're going to get offended.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I didn't always make the right choice. So when her mom finds out that Mom and I are together, the first time she knew this had already taken place, she says, he wanted to throw your Uncle Tony down the stairs. He's 15 years older than you. What are you doing with this guy? And when I met them, I said, listen, I want you to understand something. I understand your concerns.
Yeah.
I'm a young 35. I've been around. They didn't like that I was married before.
Of course.
I said, I've gotten a lot of things out of my system that a younger man might marry your daughter, go out and have indiscretions.
That's a great point.
I won't do that.
Sure.
I was that guy, and I don't want to be that guy, and I wouldn't do it to such a sweet person.
Yeah.
I did it, and,
Yeah.
and it hurt good
Yeah.
people in my life. I said, so you don't have to fear that. I'll always take good care of your daughter. So with this, I'm a carpenter. We're living in Brooklyn. Dad, that's my wife's father, comes, tells Mom he has to go to Florida because the guy renting their home, he owned a home in Seminole,
Yeah.
hasn't paid a rent in 5 months, and he's cursing at him on the phone. Now, my father-in-law knew I was a street guy, but he didn't know to what degree I might go or
To handle a
how
problem.
far I might push a problem, if it's a problem, or
Sure.
what I might do. And I said, this guy, how does he do that? How do you owe a guy 5 months rent and curse him out
Yeah.
when you're living in his fucking house?
Yeah.
So I told Mom, I said, I'm gonna go with your father.
Sure.
I go down, we knock on the door, the guy answers the door.
You went with Papa?
With Papa.
Wow. He was with you. Oh, shit.
We flew.
No, I'm saying he went to the door.
went to the door.
Wow.
And I'm standing there. When the guy opens the door, I'm like burning a hole in his forehead because I want to like hit him already. Just because Pop was a very sweet man. You
Yes.
knew him.
Yeah.
And I love that about him.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let somebody, it's just
Principle.
I don't know, maybe it's the Maximus in me. I can't see good people mistreated
Or
like
taken
that.
advantage of, yeah.
Especially, and it's
Especially when
like,
they can't defend themselves.
he's not a fighter. He's just, you need a centurion in your life.
Yeah.
To
Somebody.
step in and handle your shit.
Right.
And I'm that guy. Don't worry. You're in good hands.
Love it.
So I said, I want to, what's your name? Billy, whatever the fuck his name was. Let's go. We're going to go. I want to talk to you.
Sure.
Just give me a minute. So I go in the garage. We're in the garage and I see a hammer. And I grab the hammer. I said, look at me. You owe this man 5 months rent. And I got the hammer in my hand. I'm just standing. And I'm tapping the hammer on the workbench.
You give him the agita.
You got-
building.
you got-
I feel the fear building.
You got a guy inside that has let you slide for 5 months, hasn't thrown you out, has empathy that you're not working. And you curse him on the phone. I said, let me be the first to inform you. He's not alone in the world. He has me. And I will split your fucking head open with this hammer. If you don't go in there and apologize to him. Now, whether or not I'm the kind of guy that would do something like that is not relevant.
It's not the point.
I made him believe that I would.
Psychological warfare.
So he believed
Really?
me enough to go in very humbly
And apologize.
and say, Mr. Ponzo, I'm very sorry.
Good.
I should never have said that.
Right.
And I'm going to have some money for you before you head back to New York.
The way
I
that-
said,
that-
very
to that
good.
point is
I
if
said-
somebody's disrespectful.
If you don't keep your word and I come back here, I will throw you out.
I promise.
And I promise you, you won't walk out.
Yeah.
And I meant every word.
Yeah.
Especially I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm going back somewhere else.
So you showed Pop that you'd obviously be there from that kind of
So while I'm there, Pop says to me, Mom and I are deciding we may retire out here and come back and go back to our house. You think you and Rosanne would want to come out, bring the kids, relocate?
I'm listening.
So I said, well, carpentry, the union wasn't thriving really. Things were slow. Work was always, every winter you went hungry.
Yeah, with carpentry.
You had options. You either drove car service, you delivered pizza. I remember I drove car service on Friday and Saturday night when you were babies.
Yeah.
We were on Bay Parkway. You were 1 year old. Your sister was 2. And No, you're 18 months apart. She was
Almost 3.
You weren't even 1.
Yeah.
You weren't even 1. You were 1 in Florida. She was 3.
Sure.
So I would meet people I knew. I would take them to the clubs I used to work in.
Right.
And at nighttime I come home and I jump and I go Emerald Car Service, Stacy Car Service, and I would drive. And always a side job, always something to make ends meet. But I said, you know what? It started to look appealing. Maybe I'll start a new life in Florida. While I was out with Pop, he says, you could find a home out here, non-qualifying, assumable mortgage. I said, non-qualifying? I said, Dad, because I don't have a steady company I work for.
Yeah.
I work out at a hall.
Yeah.
He says, you don't have to qualify. The only thing you got to do is be willing to take the mortgage. And at that time, there was a lot of that in Florida.
Sure.
Somebody couldn't pay the mortgage, gave the house back to the bank.
It's like subleasing, yeah.
You're willing to take it over, it'll go under your name.
Wow.
$4,800 later with closing. But before I did that, I took pictures with a Polaroid camera. Every 10 feet. I went out to the street, took 10 feet. Another 10 feet, took the front. Walked around, took the whole house, about 50 pictures. I send them overnight to Mom. I said, this is your father, what he was mentioning to me. We can have this house. We can move in here next week.
Yeah.
If you like it, we can get this done. We'll stay 2 more days, go to the bank. Already spoke to them. I already know what it's going to cost monthly. She goes, but Ron, you don't have a job. I said, I'll get a fucking job.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
out.
I'll work. It'll happen. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Come home. Within 2.5 weeks, we packed up everything we had. I built a trailer in the back of Jerry Feedy's house out here in South Brunswick.
Wow.
Put the bed, your bunk beds,
Yeah.
your crib mattresses, not your bunk beds, not crib mattresses, your bunk beds, and cooler of food. What else? Just my tools, all my tools, so I could get a job as a carpenter, handyman, doing something. And we go. Now we're waiting for our stuff to arrive 7 days later.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come the Wednesday it's supposed to. I give it another day, maybe they're running late. I call the next morning, where's my stuff? Well, we're gonna have it on the truck. If we were delayed, I get that. Then now it's going on 10 days. I call the guy up. You know, I don't want to tell you, but your packages were really. I said, listen to me, you. First of all, I weighed every box because I've heard that a lot of the companies get your stuff in the warehouse and hold you hostage. If that is your plan, change the way you think, because I know what every box weighs. Not one box weighs over 50 pounds. 47 pounds was my limit on every fucking box you have. And I stood on a scale. I was maybe 200 pounds.
You knew.
I knew I didn't hit 250. I picked the box up. I knew what the box weighed. So, I said, you're full of shit. Let me tell you how this is going to play out. You're talking shit on the phone. Well, you know, who the fuck do you think you are? And this and that. I said, I'll tell you who I am. I'm the guy who's going to come to your place of business, and I promise you, when I'm done with you, you'll be very sorry you chose me, and you'll never do this again. He said, yeah, I'm going to be in New York tomorrow morning, tough guy. I rent a truck from Sears, budget rent a truck.
Wow, that's so funny.
I take the truck. I rent it in New York City. I get off the plane. I go see George. He goes, stay calm, this, that, the other. I said, I want you to know where I'm going to be, because he's got a lot of work hands there. If anything happens, you know, this is where I went to. This is the last address that I'll be at. He goes, all right. I don't hear from you by 6 o'clock, I'm getting a few guys who are coming out. I said, thank you.
Yep.
But I'll call you. I'll keep you posted. I go out. I said, show me my stuff. Sure, it's right over here. No problem. Guys are coming. I said, you want to give us a minute? I just want to talk to him a minute. You know, he had a couple of like guys walking around
With him, yeah.
Yeah, well, he was concerned.
Yeah, and he singled them out though now.
So, they're standing back, and I heard it in the movie. I said, let's see if I can convince him how real and how I am and how much I mean this. Because I was at the precipice of going to jail. I'm gonna fucking murder this. Because my 2 children are eating out of bags and boxes, McDonald's and this and that, because you haven't brought my refrigerator, and you're now 12 days out from the day you were supposed to have all my stuff.
Oh my God.
I'm living out of a box.
Yep.
A cooler. At nighttime, I would go buy peanut butter and jelly, bags of ice, so
Sure.
you and your sister could have a little sandwich or
Yeah.
something. I have no normalcy in my life now. And you're fucking holding up my life, and you're doing it to my wife and my children.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Now you really messed up.
So I'm boiling. So I get him in the back of the warehouse, and he has it cordoned off with cones and tape. And all my stuff is in this area,
All right.
piled up. I said, now that we're alone, I want to give you something to chew on. I want to tell you something. What you did to me and my family, there's going to come a night, and it'll be a Halloween. And one night you're going to be walking, and you're going to hear footsteps, and you're going to turn around, and I'm going to fucking be there. I will burn your face in my brain for the rest of my life unless you redeem yourself and do the right thing today. Now, you can have your friends beat me up. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I have friends who know I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think I'm just a working schlub, regular guy, no disrespect to the hardworking guys that don't know anybody, I'm not him.
Yeah.
I got a couple of friends that if I don't show up, they're going to come. They know who you are. And all this, you will never enjoy from the wheelchair they put you in.
Yeah, but it's so serious.
Now,
It's
you
just
think
like-
I'm full of shit?
Go ahead.
Make your fucking move. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I will fucking remember you and remember what you did.
Yeah.
He looks at me.
He's trying to hustle you.
He says, what can I do to make this right?
Whoa!
I said, I want 4 of those blankets. I want a refrigerator hand truck with the trolley on it for the stairs.
Yeah.
And I want $2. I want you to get your men to load my fucking truck. And I give you my word, I will forget all about you and never think about you again. But if you don't do that, whatever's going to take place moving forward
Right.
will be.
Yeah.
And we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
But I will get you back for this.
So just get
So-
go ahead.
You will not enjoy all the money you make, the
It'll
legacy your uncle left you with
With
the
your
business,
business.
the franchise, will mean nothing. Trust me on that. I will make that.
Yeah.
He sends me home. Now I go home. I call Rosanne. I got our stuff, honey. Don't worry. And I go.
Yeah.
I'm traveling now back to Florida. I'm exhausted. I pull in South Carolina, south of the border. Crash, sleep in the chair, in the truck. Stop at a choke and puke. Get some split pea soup. Truck stop diner's got the best split pea soup.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
See, back in 1990.
So
but I don't know about it anymore.
I get some split pea soup and sleep a couple hours.
Yeah.
I head out and I make it home. All our stuff. Now we're gonna start our life.
Beautiful.
I get a job.
Building hot tub decks.
Well, first it was in a warehouse for. I was the warehouse a handyman.
All right.
And a guy went in my toolbox and took tools of mine without asking me.
Okay.
You don't do that.
Yeah,
you don't
sure.
go in a guy's locker.
No,
you
of
don't
course
go in his
not.
toolbox.
You would think that.
I said, I don't know where you grew up, but I don't open somebody's refrigerator. So anyway, I have an argument with him. He talks shit to me.
Yeah.
I told him, we'll talk about it outside.
Yep.
That was all I said.
Yep.
Well, I got fired for that. So now I go and I find a job with a company called Paul Davis Systems, and I become an assessor. And there was a tornado that hit a mobile home park and devastated it. I never seen anything like it.
Wow.
And I mean, other than television.
Yeah.
And I had to write reports and this and that. And I'm using my spell check. And
Yeah.
I'm not one. So I am now, but I never thought I'd be a computer. I write reports. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so I do that for a while, and a job comes up making skirts around hot tubs.
Yeah.
Out of cedar wood.
Okay.
And I was a good woodworker.
Yeah.
You would start work at 3 in the morning and you would work till 11:30.
Wow.
And they had big
AM or PM?
It was AM.
Okay.
They had big fans. This is in Florida. This
Yeah.
is in Dunedin, Florida. We lived in Largo, which was about 25 miles out of Tampa Airport.
Yep.
They had big 8-foot fans on belt drive with a motor, big belt, sucking air on one end and blowing it out the other of an aeroplane hangar. And it was shaped like this.
Wow.
And there were all sections, guys who were gluing moldings, who's putting in faucets. I would get it when it was done and I would dress it.
Right.
Did that for a while. Then I decided to go into Ron's Handy Home Improvements. How to put the word handy in between Ron's Home Improvements. So handy was diagonal, and the reason for that is I would be able to do repairs and things on people's homes without needing a license as a contractor.
Because you were in a home
Because I'm
improvement
working
company.
under a handyman license.
Ah ha ha.
So now I have my trailer.
Cool.
I would have my tools in the trailer. I had a workbench, a chop saw, a drill press.
Yeah.
I could go to your house and fix anything. And what was great is I would bring my trailer to your home. I'm doing work. I'm contracted to be there for 10 days. I would chain my trailer to a tree in your yard, disconnect it from my car, and drive my car home.
Right.
Anyway, I'm doing that. Well, my mom is visiting, and this is where the story will begin with Mom.